Hello and welcome to Beach View, our podcast about different things, indoor stuff.
Welcome. So today's topic, we are sharing first episodes of TV series. So we each picked two first episodes that we wanted the other to watch.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mixtape, but for television.
Love that.
Yeah, it's interesting, because, first episode, important thing for TV shows. Introduce the premise, the setting, the characters, all that stuff.
Yeah, it is interesting. And I like kind of going back, because I picked two shows that, I've previously watched, and I kind of liked going back and seeing them in that first episode, because I didn't remember them.
Yeah, I also picked two shows I've previously watched. Well, I haven't watched all of Scooby-Doo, but who has?
Yes.
That is something that lived in syndication for years, and I feel like anybody who
Yes.
owned a TV's seen an episode. But
Oh yeah, definitely.
yeah, figured this would be an interesting way to talk about some TV.
Yeah.
That's not just watching, a series.
Yeah, because it would be hard to do like a whole series, I think, unless we did like an episode by episode synopsis, which would be just a lot of content.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've done it before. It's just, like, 2 a year series are, 4 seasons, which is a lot of episodes.
Yes,
So,
exactly. It would be a lot.
but, I guess we'll, get into them. You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
You go first.
Alright, my first one is Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And the first episode is What a Night for a Night. That second night is K-N-I-G-H-T. And it premiered in 1969. So,
Wow.
old show, classic, well-known, beloved
Classic.
characters. And this is the first.
Okay, so right off the bat, I'm like, this is nostalgic. Like you said, I feel like everyone has seen at least one episode of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
I remember this from when I was like a little kid. I didn't remember this particular episode,
Me
but
neither.
yes, like the theme song and like the characters, it was just like classic, so it was like a feel good. I remember Scooby-Doo being creepy to me when I was little, because it was a little bit scary. So I've always been creeped out easily, I guess. So it was just kind of fun to watch. Like, was it really creepy? No, it was not.
No. Also, this in contrast for every other show we have on here is every other show is like a sequential story. This is like your procedural type, your episode monster of the week sort of deal, where there is no overarching story, or maybe there is. I don't think there is, but
I don't think so, yeah.
this episode treats it as given, basically, that you already know these characters. It doesn't spend much time introducing them.
Yeah, that's very true.
Which is kind of the point, you write it such that any of these episodes could theoretically be a first episode. This, as a result, doesn't really feel like a first episode.
It doesn't.
Fred even says, right as he says, time for another mystery or something like that.
Yeah, that's very true. And because I couldn't remember everybody's names.
How?
I could not. I just remember Thelma.
Uh-huh.
Obviously Scooby-Doo, Shaggy.
Yes.
I didn't remember the other two's names.
Fred and Daphne? How do you remember?
I just could not remember it. I was like,
God.
I have a terrible memory with stuff like this. Okay,
It's
So
Scooby-Doo.
I could not remember. And so I had to wait for them to say their names, to remember.
Oh my God.
I know. It's terrible. I couldn't remember those two. I mean, I got Scooby-Doo, right?
It's the name of the show.
And I remember the Mystery Machine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also just here, that's their iconic vehicle.
Yeah.
There's no
exactly.
preamble, they just have it. They barely even discuss it.
No, they're just let's check the Mystery Machine, or whatever they said.
Yeah, that, this is just everything is here fully formed. There's not really an introduction.
Yes. Which I kind of liked.
Yeah. Although I will say, it's just me, or is a lot of stuff in this episode really slow? There's just a
Yes.
lot of delayed reactions, or they held on a moment for too long.
Yeah, I agree.
I assume for cost-saving purposes, like, that's less work you have to do. And in this era, I think animation was fairly expensive, so you
Yeah.
had to, like, do a lot of cost-cutting. But yeah, I don't know. It really hurt the final product for me, because there were some, like, jokes that didn't land
Yeah.
because they either, like held on it too long or delayed their, like, delivery.
Are we just used to like instant gratification now? And it wasn't that weird back in 1969?
No, Casablanca's snappier than this. Like, Casablanca
Yeah,
really, like, those lines are really well delivered. They have a
that's
really good
true.
sense of timing, and that's earlier than this. I mean, admittedly, different medium.
Yeah,
But, it's
that's
not
true.
just a cultural thing.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, I agree with that. It was a little slow, and it was only like a 20-minute episode. So I was
Yeah.
like, how is this slow? Normally 20-minute episodes go by so fast for me. But also, I mean, it was a cartoon, so I wasn't like, super enthralled by it, but it was good. It was, one of those things.
Very disrespectful to the medium, but sure.
I know, I'm so sorry. That's just me. But I did think I was like impressed with the animation.
Yeah, definitely.
Looking back, because obviously, like, I remember as a kid watching this, but like, I haven't seen it in like several years. So looking back at the animation, I was like, hey, this is pretty awesome for 1969.
Yeah, especially, like, on TV. Like, there's some of the Disney stuff is earlier than this. When is that?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, there's this looks really well done for a TV series in
Yeah,
the
totally
era.
agree. Yeah. And it was fun. Fun to watch.
I'll give a synopsis now. Scooby and the gang find a suit of armor in a truck. They find out it belongs to a museum and that the owner is missing. At the museum, there's a legend that says the suit of armor comes to life at the full moon. The gang investigates the missing owner of the suit of armor, who's a professor, at the museum, and they're menaced by said suit of armor, like fulfilling the legend and coming to life. Eventually, they find out that the museum curator was forging paintings and kidnapped the professor using the suit of armor, and that was their whole, dastardly plan where they get unmasked at the end. You've seen a Scooby-Doo episode, I'm sure.
Yeah. I liked it. It was like a little bit of a whodunit, I guess.
Yeah.
And it was, as a kid watching this, I wouldn't have seen it coming.
Yeah, I do like how they find the room, the secret room where they're forging the paintings, and
Yeah.
they don't explain it at first. They wait till the end to explain it. They're like, everybody but Shaggy and Scooby are like, I think I know what's going on here, but then they leave it for like till later, which I thought, that was an interesting touch.
It was.
'Cause, I mean, it is like you can tell what's happening as an adult, but as a child, I don't know that I knew
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, and I like how they first go into the room and they're like, oh, somebody's making a mess. It wasn't like obvious that that's what was happening. Interesting.
Yeah, also I forgot about this, that like Scooby-Doo says his name as like the punchline to jokes. When he's
Yes.
like he's doing a jape and he'll go, Scooby-Doo!
Yeah.
I was like,
I forgot about that too.
I didn't remember that, and I was like, that's a bit much, Scooby-Doo.
I thought this was especially funny because I think I've probably mentioned this before at some point, but my husband used to have a dog that was a boxer, and like that was its persona, like the dog's persona. We would be like, ruh-roh, like just like Scooby-Doo. So it just kind of became like a thing in our house that like we would talk like Scooby-Doo and we were talking to the dog. So this is like definitely, it's just funny to me that like we just kept that going like years later.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if it's just me or like if this is like an early episode they hadn't really dialed the voice in yet, but I don't remember having this much trouble understanding Scooby-Doo when I watched this. And I had a lot of trouble knowing what he was saying.
Oh, so I didn't have as much trouble, but I don't know. I feel like I remember it being that way, but I mean, again, you're talking about like when I was a kid, and like who knows what episodes I watched. Like I don't even remember because I didn't watch it all the time because, like I said, it creeped me out. So
yeah, no, I remember having easier time understanding him as a kid, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, maybe you're more dialed into animal speak when you were a child.
Or maybe this being the first episode, they didn't really have, like, the actor and the producers didn't really have the voice dialed in, and maybe watching a later episode, they would have that figured out better, and it's more legible. I don't know.
Probably. Yeah, and I mean, they could have changed that up in later episodes based on, like, consumer feedback and stuff, too. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely plausible.
But yeah, Scooby-Doo. It's a classic. I didn't think this episode was that great, but, it's fine.
I thought it was, watching it as a small kid, like, I was thinking, like, this is a pretty developed episode for a child,
Yeah, that's true.
So I was like, that's kind of cool. I mean, it's just a classic, so
yeah.
I didn't think too much into the episode because, again, it's a cartoon, and I was like,
You can evaluate cartoons. That's so dismissive.
No, yeah. I'm not trying to be dismissive. I just meant, like, for a kid, like, meant for kids, I felt it was pretty developed.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, there you go.
Yep.
I liked it. It was fun. It was fun to watch.
Yep. Bringing the classics in.
Yes, the classics.
It's definitely a classic at this point.
Yeah. 1969. I was actually, like, really surprised that it was 1969. I mean, I didn't know when it started, but I was like, dang, that was a long time ago, and it still, like, holds up, you know?
Like 55 years.
And that's what makes it a classic. Amazing.
I think they're still making, like, modern Scooby-Doo stuff, too.
Are they really? Oh, wow. Yeah. It's one of those things, too, that, like, I always see, like, people for Halloween, like, still dress like Scooby-Doo characters. Like, when they're doing, like, a group costume or something.
Well, they definitely have a very iconic design. Like, iconic and kind of understated. Like, they're just wearing normal clothes. They're just, like, particularly, like, colorful and, like, they differentiate them well as characters.
They do. I think it's really, really cute. Ruh-roh.
All right, wow.
That's, like, stuck in my head now.
Yeah, let's move on to your first one.
Okay, so I had to go with, one that I have talked about several times because it's just iconic. The OC. So OC, for those of you not familiar, OC stands for Orange County, California.
Yes.
This pilot episode aired August 5th, 2003. So this is the pilot episode was called Premiere, which, most of them are called pilot. But anyways, that is the name of the episode. I'm going to try to shorten this synopsis. So basically, okay, Ryan Atwood is, like, he's the main character they're showing from the beginning. He is a troubled teen, you would say.
An at-risk teen.
Yes, let's say at risk. I like that because he's really not troubled.
Teen with the heart of gold. Although I guess we don't find that out yet.
Yeah, exactly. So the scene opens. Ryan and his older brother Trey, they are stealing a car. Ryan's older brother is, like, basically teaching him how to steal a car. And we see Ryan's, like, a little apprehensive here. He's like, what do we do? But then a police car drives by. He jumps in the vehicle at the last minute and, like, they take off. They crash. They get caught by the police. So Ryan's in jail. He's in the clinker. And we meet his public defender, who is Sandy Cohen. This is a pivotal moment for Sandy and Ryan. Okay? So basically Sandy's trying to tell him, like, hey, I was like you once. Like, I grew up on the wrong side of the Bronx and blah, blah, blah. And he's just basically trying to tell him that, like, you can turn your life around. You have really good test grades. So he gets Ryan out of jail. Sandy gets Ryan out of jail. And his mom comes and picks him up from jail, okay? And his mom is, like, you can see she looks like she's drunk, maybe. She's yelling at him. Get in the car. Sandy immediately picks up that this is, like, kind of a bad situation. Ryan goes home. He gets into a fight with his mom and his mom's boyfriend. They kick him out of the house. He packs a backpack, takes off on his bike. He's at a payphone and trying to call people to stay. He's, like, out of luck. So he's, like, obviously frustrated. Well, Sandy had given him his card with his home number because he could tell Ryan would probably need some help. Ryan calls Sandy. Sandy comes and picks him up. Let's not forget the song's iconic Phantom Planet song, California, starts playing in the background, okay?
It's apparently the theme song, so.
Yes, it's going to be the theme song, yes. Okay, so, and Ryan's in Chino, which is apparently like a bad neighborhood, okay? And Sandy comes and picks up Ryan, and they puts his bike in the trunk, and they head up to Orange County. They get to Sandy's house, which is this big, beautiful home, and Sandy's driving like a, I don't know, it's like a BMW or something, and Ryan points out like how nice the car is, and Sandy's like, wait here, I gotta go talk to my wife, and then he's hesitant to leave the keys in the car because like this kid just went to jail for stealing a car. But he does, he trusts them. Anyways, Sandy's wife is not as happy. Kirsten is her name. She's like, what are you doing bringing this like riffraff into our house, okay? Anyway, she recognizes Sandy's big heart, and she's like, okay, he can stay. They bring Ryan into the house. He's going to stay in the pool house, which this is not anything like Ryan is familiar with because he's being introduced to this like new world of like basically wealth. Anyways, Ryan goes outside to smoke a cigarette at the end of the driveway where he encounters the girl next door, aka Marissa. This is a pivotal moment later in the show. Basically, like, she's like, who are you? And he goes, whoever you want me to be. So we see, like, initially he's kind of cocky, and eventually that fades. But
That's not cocky, that's, like, interested. But sure.
yeah, but it's also cocky, too. I think it's cocky. It's like, anyways.
He's trying to play it cool.
He's trying to play it cool, but I think it's a cocky thing to say. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But, okay. So, anyways, she's like, oh, can I have a cigarette too? And we see, like, Marissa trying to be, like, a little baddie. So, anyway, they're obviously a little bit interested in each other. Okay. She thinks he's, like, a cousin. He tells her, like, his story. And she's like, oh, haha, you're joking. You're the cousin, right? And he's like, sure. Anyways, Marissa invites him to go to a fashion show that they're doing the next night. And he's like, okay. Anyway, Sandy comes out. He says he's excited about the fashion show. Blah, blah. And then Marissa drives off with her boyfriend. And the boyfriend's like looking at Ryan like, ill. They drive off. Okay, they go in the pool house. Ryan meets Kirsten. Kirsten, like, says, welcome. If you need anything, just talk to our maid. So this is, like, a whole nother world, right? He wakes up the next day after sleeping in the pool house. He walks into the house, and here is Seth Cohen. Seth is Sandy and Kirsten's son. He's playing video games. Is like, a lovable kind of dorky kid who he says doesn't, like, he thinks that he doesn't fit into, like, the Orange County scene, right? So anyway, Seth invites him to play video games. They, like, immediately, like, kind of bond. Sandy comes in and he's like, hey, why don't you show Ryan around town? So they go sailing, because Seth is like, what is there to do here? Well, obviously, like, they live on the ocean, so they go sailing on this little sailboat called Summer Breeze. Seth tells Ryan it is named after his crush, Summer Roberts.
Very creepy, but whatever.
Yeah, who he has never spoken to. It's a little creepy, but I mean, it's also like, aw, Seth is
That's not
in love.
I mean, I get, like, you know, I'm sure the writer's room at the time weren't thinking about, like, it's a bit creepy. They're trying to make him, like, as like, he's just socially
Like a lovesick
awkward and
puppy.
doesn't really,
Yes.
like, hang out much.
Correct. Yeah,
It
he doesn't get out
goes
much.
a little bit
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
But yeah. I get the intent.
Yeah. So, anyways, they have known each other their whole lives, but they don't, like, he's not on Summer's radar. Anyway, so Sandy tells Ryan, like, oh, we have to go to that fashion show. After they finish sailing, like, Sandy comes up. They say, we have to go to that fashion show because Marissa invited Ryan. And Seth is like, wait, what? I've lived next door to her my whole life. She's never invited me out. And they're like, Ryan's like, well, Summer might be there. He's trying to get her to go because Ryan is interested in Marissa. Okay, so then they're all walking back up a hill. Marissa's house is right next door, and we see these two SEC agents knock on the door and are asking for Jimmy Cooper, Marissa's dad. Background is that Seth just shared Jimmy Cooper used to date Kirsten, okay? And Seth says they almost got married, and Sandy's like, no, they didn't. Anyway, we see Jimmy Cooper is in some kind of trouble with the SEC, but he's avoiding them. So we're introduced to Caitlin Cooper, Marissa's little sister, and her mother, Julie Cooper. Caitlin and Julie, we see are very, like, materialistic right from the start, okay? So this is, like, the kind of world that Marissa's living in. They're very materialistic. Jimmy Cooper's in trouble with the SEC. Anyways, they go to the fashion show. Seth and Ryan end up sitting at, like, the kids' table. And everybody's, like, staring at Ryan because they don't know who he is. All these, like, women, these, like, older women are like, oh, who is this? Like, they're just trying to find out information because it's, like, they're just gossiping, basically, about, like, who this kid is. And he tells each one of them, like, they're, like, one of them's like, oh, I heard you're from Canada. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, I like how he basically doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
He
doesn't
says
say
one
anything.
word to each of them.
This establishes his character. He's, like, the strong, silent type, okay?
Yeah, like, I do like that characterization of him, where he just
I
sort
do
of, like,
too. He just goes with it.
Yeah.
And he's just like, whatever. Like, you could tell he's a little bit of a fish out of water. And so is Seth, but in a different way.
Yeah. But he also, like, he tries to play it cool. He has,
Yes.
like, an understated,
Yes.
I like that choice in character writing and, like, acting.
I completely agree with that. Like, I love how they kind of set this up. Backstage, Marissa and Summer are getting ready. Summer sneaks in champagne, and Marissa's like, oh, I already got a bottle of vodka. So we see, like, these are kind of like party girls. Totally not, like, Seth's scene, which is why he, like, has never been invited to hang out with him, I guess. Anyways, so they're walking the fashion show. Marissa walks on stage. She's, like, hosting the event, basically. She walks on stage, and she's looking at Ryan, and Luke, her boyfriend, who already was, like, giving Ryan the evil eye, like, sees her looking at Ryan. And then they joke about, like, the adults joke about, like, Jimmy's experience and, like, handling their money and doing such a good job. And we see Jimmy gets, like, really upset, goes to the bathroom, basically has, like, a little breakdown in the bathroom. Ryan hears this, but he doesn't know what's going on. After the fashion show, Summer is trying to, like, hit on Ryan and invites him to go to a party at their friend's beach house. Ryan tells Seth they should go. And Ryan, you can see, is a little uncomfortable because Seth has already, like, proclaimed his devotion to Summer, and Summer is hitting on Ryan. So he's a little uncomfortable, but he's like, hey, let's go, because Ryan, again, is interested in Marissa, and he convinces Seth to go. At the party... Anyways, they get in a fight at the party.
Seth's
Party
a fish
stuff
out of water.
happens.
Ryan's kind of, like, there.
Yes. People are beating up Seth. They get in a fight.
Yeah, well, Summer tries to get with Ryan. Seth sees this, runs off, and people start picking on him. And Ryan jumps in to defend him. They get in a fight and end up back home.
Yes.
Bruised.
They end up back home. They're beat up. But Seth goes, dude, you had my back.
Yeah.
And I appreciate
Seth thinks
that.
it's
Basically.
cool to get in a fight.
Yeah, Seth is like, this is a life experience I haven't lived in. Like, this is probably, like, par for the course for Ryan. He's like, whatever, like, I just got punched by my mom's boyfriend, so I don't really care.
You know, Heart of Gold, he did have Seth's back in the end, even though they were fighting.
He did have Seth's back. I love, and this is the part, I love how they are immediate, like, Ryan's loyalty is like, we're immediate friend, I'm going to take up for you. And we see that Ryan is like, he's going to stand up for what's right. And so we know he's like an at-risk teen, not a troubled teen. Like, he just was a product of his environment, basically, and when he got arrested. But we see, like, he really does have a good heart.
Yeah, well, he's also, like, you know, trying to get Seth out there, even though we just met him, like, trying to help him out and stuff.
Yeah, he's like a good guy. Okay, meanwhile, they get home, Ryan goes out, like, he's outside again, and he sees Marissa's friends drop her off in her driveway, and she's, like, blacked out drunk. And they just leave her there. And so he goes, picks her up. This, again, is another pivotal moment. We'll see. This is kind of foreshadowing for what happens later on in the series, but we don't know that yet. He picks up Marissa, carries her into the pool house, lets her sleep in the bed, and he sleeps on the floor, like on some cushion. When they wake up, Marissa's gone. Kirsten sees that Ryan and Seth have been in a fight, and she's like, get inside now, to Seth. Basically, she's kind of upset, and she's like, Sandy, one night with this kid, or 2 nights really, you got to get him out of here. He's being a bad influence on Seth. I'm sorry, we just cannot have this. Okay, Sandy goes to bring Ryan home, and Ryan's like, I get it, man. He goes to say goodbye to Seth, and Seth like gives him a map and is like, here, you could pick where you want to go. It's like kind of like a sailing thing, but it's also like kind of a deeper meaning. Like, there are possibilities for you. And he goes, I'm going to come and visit you in Chino. So they immediately establish like they're not going to lose touch as friends. Sandy goes to bring Ryan home. Ryan goes into his house to find that his mom and boyfriend completely moved out while he was away in 2 days and left a note, and they basically bailed on him. He doesn't know where they are. He's really upset. Sandy's like, come on, man, get your bike. We're going back to my house. So also one other little pivotal moment that we see later on in the show that we don't know yet is a pivotal moment is when they are leaving to go back to Chino. When Sandy's bringing him home, Ryan looks out the back of the car and sees Marissa standing at the end of the driveway. And he's like kind of looking at her like, well, it's been real, but I'm going back to Chino. Anyway, then he comes back to the OC, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, it's the solid teen drama.
Yeah, teen
Writing
drama.
solid, acting solid. It gets a bit over the top at the end, where like they have that whole huge fight scene. Well, I guess it's not that long, but still. And then, what's her name? The neighbor gets dropped off, and he also is like, it's like, oh, let me take care of the drunk girl. Like, it's a bit over the top, but I guess it's probably like part for the course. It's like dramatic.
Yeah, I feel like it's like, okay, the fight had to be had because they're like showing that Seth really does get picked on and Ryan has his back.
Yeah.
And then we see his like caring for Marissa, and that's basically setting up the characters because they become involved in the show. Anyway, this is like the whole pilot really sets up the rest of the season.
Yeah. Sets up the characters, the
Yes.
premise of like basically the White Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, the White Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, this like poor kid from a rough neighborhood gets, put in this rich neighborhood.
Yeah. And I don't know, for me, like, I immediately liked Ryan and Seth and their dynamic. Like, I love that, like, Seth is this little, like, antisocial. They're both kind of antisocial, but in different ways. And they just, like, found each other, basically. I just love their friendship. And I love what it shows, like, Sandy's compassion. Like, he's really, like, a compassionate guy. And we see him, like, he softens Kirsten. And he's like, Kirsten, you used to be this way. Like, look at you now. You're a noopsie. That's what they call people who live in Newport. And she's like, you're right. Let's take him in.
Yep.
Well, what did you think about, like, did you like it?
Yeah, no, it's decent. It's a bit dramatic, but I think that's probably the point for like a teen drama. Big feelings, big blow-ups with their emotions and getting into a fight and stuff like that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Good show. I love the OC.
Yeah, no, that's a solid first episode. Establishes the show. I'm sure there's like a love triangle between, well, I guess multiple characters at this point, with Summer wanting Ryan, but not Seth, and Seth wanting Summer, and then what's her name? The neighbor having
Marissa.
a boyfriend. Yeah, Marissa having a boyfriend, but also
Luke,
like her and Ryan were kinda flirting.
Vibing, yeah.
So,
exactly.
Yeah, love triangles.
Definitely.
Teen drama,
Yep. Love it.
Alright, well, my next one, Frieren Beyond Journey's End. First episode of which, as it premiered in 2023 and is based on the manga of the same name. The premise of Frieren is, like, take a fairly stock fantasy story of this, like, group of adventurers go off to defeat the Demon Lord, except Beyond Journey's End, so what happens afterwards. And the main character is an elf, Frieren, and, like, one of the things about elves in fantasies, they usually live a long time, so it's like, what does she do specifically afterwards? And she lives so much longer than humans. And I'll give a synopsis. So, the heroes return to the capital city victorious. They share a moment together celebrating and looking at a meteor shower. Then 50 years pass. The heroes, now old, sans Frieren, who's an elf who lives for a long time, watch the meteor shower again. Then the main hero guy, Himmel, dies. And Frieren realizes, wait, shit, humans live really short lives and I never really spent time with him. This is sad. Then another 20 years pass, and she meets the priest guy who's a member of the party. She meets him, even older now, who's, like, on his deathbed, seemingly. Well, not literally on his deathbed, but close to death, seemingly. Who has an orphan, and she agrees to teach the orphan magic.
Wow.
It's kind of 2 parts here. It's, like, clearly adapted from a manga, and that, like, first thing, like, the first section would be all 1 part. They just kind of, like, shoved it into 1 episode. But,
Yeah.
yeah. It does set up, like, because Fern, the orphan girl, is, like, one of the main characters going forward. So.
Yeah.
So what'd you think?
Well, okay, so I didn't love it and I didn't hate it. And the reason was because I felt like the time lapses was like, I don't know. For one, it seemed like very serious.
Oh, it is.
Yes. And so I was kind of like, I don't love that.
Oh, really? I mean, to me, this just, like, punches you in the gut right out the gate.
Yes, so. It was very serious and also, like, sad. And so I was like, it wasn't, like, bad.
Oh, right, I forget, you hate sadness.
Yeah, I don't like sadness, and it was very serious. And I, at first, was like, okay, you heard me say this before. My complaint with, like, very, like, fantasy stuff is that there's always, like, all these different types of characters, and they all have, like, different, like, there's, like, different rules for all of them. You know, like the fairy, like, lives forever.
There's no fairy in this?
Huh? Isn't she a fairy? I thought she was a fairy.
What? Who?
What is she?
She's an elf.
She's an elf?
Yeah.
She's an elf. Okay,
I guess
my bad.
they don't say that, actually, do they?
Well, they do mention, like, elves live a long time or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
So
they
do.
Elf.
Okay, they do. I just was automatically thinking she was a fairy. Okay, she's an elf. Okay, this is my whole thing. The elf lives forever. The dwarves apparently live a long time, but they age.
Yeah.
Like, there's a human in here.
2.
And anyway, there's, like, all these different, like, characters, and you're like, for me, it becomes a little cumbersome to, like when she's like 10 years is nothing, and you're like, 10 years is super long time. Like, you would think, because she was like, I barely knew him in 10 years. And I was like, how? First of all, how have you barely know somebody?
Because she lives for hundreds?
Yeah, I guess. But I was just like, what? Anyway, I wouldn't say I disliked it, but would I want to watch this series? No.
Oh, okay.
It was too serious and sad. And then, like, the time lapses were like, what, 50 years just went by? What? Like, that was like, whoa.
Oh, okay. So you just did not connect with the premise at all.
I didn't. I really didn't. And I mean, I liked how her whole thing was like, I'm gonna go look for spells. And then it was like, I'm gonna connect with humans and other characters I come into contact with. Like, that's gonna be my goal. Like, I like that. But, and she kind of had some little quippy dialogue, like,
yeah,
you know, so it, like, some of it was kind of, like, sarcastically funny.
Yeah, this show is not this serious throughout the rest of it. Like, it has its moments, but, like, this first episode is, like, the most serious of it.
Yeah.
Which I think is neat. I like that it's extremely sentimental. It just, like, goes for sad as its first note out the gate.
Oh, like, right off the bat, you're like, oh, this is like...
Right. It's just sad.
Yeah, just sad. And I was like, oh, I don't want to be sad.
Oh, yeah. I forget you hate sadness. Also, I totally forgot the fantasy thing where you'd be like, oh, I hate fantasy.
Yeah, you would think I would like it. I don't know. It doesn't, like, you would think I would like fantasy novels, fantasy, whatever this is.
Manga, anime.
Yeah. But it does not connect with me, and I just don't know why. Is this a personality flaw?
Well, I think this one in particular, like, it's a genre literacy thing. You don't know because you're like, your normal problem with fantasy is you have to know all these things, but, like,
yes.
You don't have to know anything for this show other than, like, the bare bones, like, basics of fantasy. This does not explain, like, what elves are. Like, it gets into that a little bit later in the series, but, like, it is taken for given that elves live a long time.
Yeah, right.
And most people watching this would know that already.
Would know. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you nailed it.
I bet if it was a vampire, you would not have these problems, which would have the same, like, oh, a
Yes.
vampire lives a long time and 50 years is basically no time at all.
Yeah, because I would already have that background. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah. But I mean, I thought it was like kind of cute. Like, I was like, oh, like they're bonding and like, and then she's like, tells the dwarf, like, you want to come with me? And he's like, nah, girl, I got stuff to do.
Well, he's like, I'm too old.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, what? I thought the whole premise was going to be like her and that dwarf, like going on their merry way, like kind of like
No.
a Wizard of Oz type of thing, you know?
It's her and that orphan girl.
Yeah, which she's like reluctant to help. She's like, oh, I don't want to do this. But I bet they become the best of friends.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. So I feel like it would be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, this is not my favorite series, just because I think it gets too bogged down in, like, typical anime tropes,
Yeah.
which I found kind of obnoxious. Like, I really like the premise. I think it's such a cool premise, of, like, what happens after a typical fantasy journey,
Mm-hmm.
and also, like, sort of exploring, like, what's it mean to live for a long time,
Yeah.
and to have a different, perception of time than other people, like humans.
That was interesting. I did like that. I think probably if I rewatched this episode, because sometimes I have to like, if I rewatch something, I'm like, yeah, okay. Like I would get it more and I would be more interested in it, I think.
Yeah, and also, I do like how sentimental it is, which never wanes from, like, at any point in the show. It's a very sentimental show, and I do like how it goes for the gut punch of sadness.
Yeah, I mean, like right off the bat, you have like two people dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little harsh.
I like that, but, plus, like, the fact that, like, she doesn't realize how much, he meant to her until he dies
Yeah,
is, like, she visits him for the first time again after 50 years had passed, and it's, like, been his whole lifetime, basically. Like, he's
Yeah.
an old man now, almost dead, and, like, she says, I'll come visit you again, and then just never does. Like, forgets to,
Right.
I guess.
yeah. I was like, girl, if he meant so much to you, you should have visited him more. But that's the whole point, right?
Right,
You lose
right.
someone, and you're like, oh man, I should have done more to get to
Right.
know him.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
so gut-wrenching to me, that she just,
It
like,
is.
did
It
not
is.
realize, oh, I should care about this. I should care about, like, these people I travel with, and, like, not realizing that till after. It's just, I don't know. That is such a note to start your show on.
I do, yes, and I do agree with that. Like, I do think that is like, I think it sets it up for the rest of the show. I'm sure, where she probably really leans into getting to know people and kind of connecting with people more.
Yeah. The rest of the show is, like, a few episodes after this, she decides to go to, like, the end of the land, which has seemingly mystical properties. It seems like maybe the afterlife, but it's, like, unclear. Like, I'm not current with this because I've only watched the anime and not read the manga, but
Mm-hmm.
it seems kind of unclear. Like, 'cause she's like, I'm gonna go to End, is what I think it's called. And it's like, I'll meet him again, and, like, seemingly a place where the afterlife meets the real world, and it's like, it's unclear whether or not she can actually do that, but that's not set up here quite just yet.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if they were going to get more into that, like, through the series or not.
But yeah, no. She's basically, like, retracing her steps from her journey the first time.
Yeah, it is very. I liked how they had the meteor shower too. How they were like, "There's another one in 50 years," and she's like, "Oh, cool," and everybody else is like, "50 years is a long time."
Yeah.
But I liked how they went back and watched it. Like, that was kind of cool.
Yep.
Okay.
Alright, well, next?
Okay, so my next one is a show called In the Dark. So this is the American TV series called In the Dark.
Yeah, when I was looking them up, I saw there was a British one and an American one.
Yes, exactly. This one premiered April 4th, 2019. So this is a newer show, even though it's still 6 years old. So I will give a plot synopsis of this pilot episode. Okay, so this show introduces Murphy Mason. She's the main character. She is in her 20s, probably like mid-20s. She's blind, and she shares that she became blind when she was 14 years old due to a condition called retinitis pigmentosa. I had to look that one up. She is sarcastic. She's kind of funny. But we see that like she doesn't really care about herself, okay?
Yeah. She liked drinking a lot. She sleeps around a lot.
Exactly. Like she does kind of risky behavior.
Yeah, including with people she probably shouldn't.
Exactly. And
comes up.
and she says that she doesn't care about herself, and that's basically why she does this type of stuff. So she seems, kind of depressed, all this stuff. She works at her parents' business, Guiding Hope, which is a guide dog training center. And we understand through the show that Murphy is adopted. Those are her adoptive parents. Her guide dog's name is Pretzel, and she uses a cane as well as Pretzel to get through life. We see that she has a roommate named Jess, who is like her BFF, and also she's a veterinarian at Guiding Hope. And Jess like has a lot of patience for her shenanigans. And then Felix is also, he's a funny character. He works at Guiding Hope. He has a little bit of contempt for Murphy, and he's just kind of funny. So basically, one night after leaving work, Murphy goes to meet her good friend Tyson, who Tyson is younger than her. He's like 17-year-old boy. And he, like, outside of Murphy's apartment, she goes to smoke, and Tyson comes to talk to her. We learn that she's such good friends with Tyson because she was mugged 2 years ago, and Tyson like basically she was mugged and like beat up, and Tyson like came and stopped it. And so they became friends, and we see her kind of like light up when she's talking to Tyson, okay? So this is like the one person that she really cares about, and I guess can be her like true self with him. So anyway, one night after work, she is like goes to their usual place where they hang out in an alley, which we kind of see that Tyson's with like some other guys. It's kind of a rough area. She says that he was selling drugs like for his cousin. So he's kind of like, will we say an at-risk teen again?
Sure.
Anyway, she arrives in the alley. She's looking for Tyson. She kind of stumbles and she feels a body on the ground. Underneath like a sleeping bag or a blanket, and she feels his face and knows that it is Tyson, and Tyson is dead. They call the police. When the police get there, like she says, it takes them like an hour to get there. They're like questioning her. She was drunk, so they're really, and she's also blind, so they're really questioning what she thinks she found in the alley, because they say the body's gone. There's no body. There's no evidence of a crime. They really don't do anything because they're like, we don't see anything, basically.
No body, no crime.
No body, no crime. Yes. Anyways, basically, the detectives dismiss her. And she's like, I know it was Tyson because she felt his face and she knows it was him. She just goes into a deeper depression. Anyway, she is convinced that Tyson was murdered and somebody moved his body. She meets up with Tyson's cousin, Darnell. And Darnell's like, no, he's texting me. Anyway, she decides to like investigate this further, and she like, does shenanigans to like track his phone. She and Jess go and find his phone, like discard it in a heap of like garbage basically. And we find like, okay, she's like, somebody had his phone and was texting from his phone. That was not Tyson. Tyson is dead. She like goes back to Darnell. Darnell's like, do not go to the police. Well, she goes to the police anyway. And the police are like, how'd you get this phone? And she's like, I'm not telling you. Anyways, we basically see at the end of this episode, like, her bestie Tyson was murdered. She is determined that he was murdered and somebody moved the body, and there's like foul play going on.
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery, but we see that like she is not going to give up her search for what happened to Tyson. And this is giving her something to fight for, basically. Like, it's giving her life purpose because we see her like floating through life. There's a lot of other shenanigans that ensue that, like, we see what kind of person she is.
Yeah, so she's, like, she has a job at her parents' adopted parents' seeing eye dog clinic, where she mostly just kind of lays about.
Yeah, lays about.
While doing that, she manages to get a donation and...
$10,000 donation.
Ends up ruining that donation by sleeping with the husband of the married couple.
Yes, and they really needed that donation because the company was kind of having financial problems, and she kind of screwed it up.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's interesting. But then we see her running back to her parents, and she's like, I really need you. But she's just very antagonistic with her parents, or with her mom, really. She's chill with her dad.
Yep. But it's a very CW show.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a ton of CW shows, but every time I do, they all have a certain like style to them.
Yeah. I could see. I picked this one because it was a newer show, like that I had watched more recently. Well, and it's been a while since I watched it too, so I didn't remember the whole thing. But I picked this one because I thought it would be a little more interesting. It's kind of different in that, you know, the main character is blind, so she's telling people what she knows, and they are not taking her seriously because she is blind and also because of her behavior. So I just kind of like that it's kind of like a mystery, and she's like not gonna let it drop. So it's a little bit different than like the OC, for instance.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like the mystery subplot.
Oh, I like the mystery.
I felt like it being a drama was enough.
Oh.
So I like the character, even though it is very CW. Some of the acting's not the best.
Yeah.
But I like the main character being just kind of like a disaster.
Yes,
kind of snarky about it.
I love that, her personality. Like, she's a disaster and she's just mean to people. But people still put up with her because she is deep down lovable. But I agree. I remember the husband that she like almost sleeps with, that the wife was like, the acting was like so bad. I was like, this is really funny.
There's a few rough things. And yeah, I thought the like drama of it was enough. Like having this character and just like what sort of situations does she find herself in? But like I don't know. There being a mystery at the center, I didn't care for that.
Oh, I love that part. Like I love that it's a mystery and she's gonna solve it, and it kind of like takes her to places she normally wouldn't go.
I don't know, like, cause I feel like the way it's presented is like he died and the body was moved. Like, I don't know, this isn't like a mystery show. It's like a drama with a mystery subplot going through. I mean, maybe it is a mystery show primarily, and this first episode's bad at introducing that.
Well, I think it's that the mystery gives her purpose that she did not have.
But, like, I'm assuming just because so much of this first episode is about, like, her life and her, like, troubles.
Yeah.
That, like, it feels like a drama. Like, it feels like a typical drama of, like, here's this character, here's some of their supporting cast, like, what happens when you, like, do this and start putting, like, tension on, like, she's getting drunk and, like, getting a donation and then kind of ruining the donation. And,
yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know, because, like, the way this is presented, the mystery is, it's just, like, what solution is there gonna be that's, like, there's no... I assume this goes out throughout at least this season, maybe the rest of the series.
But... yeah, like, there's a series of events that occur because of this person's death that she is tracking down.
I don't know. The way it's written in this first episode just feels to me like there's not going to be any juice there. Like, the juice is not worth the squeeze. It's just gonna be like, oh, here's this new piece of information. Isn't that exciting? Oh, here's this new piece of... and it's all just gonna be, like, boring.
No! So it's basically her... So I think this first episode really sets the tone for her character. It does a lot of character building for her. Mm-hmm. And we see how her character really changes as she goes through... as she is given purpose in her life because of her friend dying. That's kind of how, like, to me, it gets set up that, like, we see her character, she doesn't care about herself, she's really rude to people who love her, but they love her anyway, and, like, this is something that really hurt her, and so now she's gonna, like, start really, like, changing slowly, very slowly, and find out who killed her friend.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like the mystery plot. Like, I think it's just poorly written, honestly, and I don't think it needs it.
Oh, wow. I really like this series.
I don't know. Maybe it gets better in preceding episodes, but, I mean, like I said, the character seems fine. Like, even through the CW of it all, I like that. I like how she's introduced. I just, yeah, I don't know. It's not a mystery show. They're really not getting any interest to me from that. It's just kind of, like, there, and
no, I thought it was good because I thought it was like setting up like the whole rest of the series is like her trying to find out, and she gets, of course, mixed up in, like, you know, and I think also because like he sells drugs and she like blames his cousin Darnell for selling the drugs, and Darnell says don't go to the police. Like we see that this is like these are like rough people that like you don't want to get mixed up in. This is like, you could end up dead like Tyson, but because she does not care about her own well-being, she moves forward with it, So anyway.
Yeah, I think fundamentally, I think my issue is that is a different genre space. That is a different genre of story than the, like, CW drama. And I think trying to introduce this as, like, the second half of a CW drama does not work. Again, haven't seen this show, so maybe it's better in later episodes. Just as introduced in this episode, it has one good part and one part that's kind of, like, crammed in there that doesn't really work.
I can see what you're saying with that, but it does introduce it for the rest of the series. So if you watch the rest of the series, I think this makes more sense. But as a one-off pilot episode, I guess it's only going to cater to certain people.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm betting if I watched the rest of the series, I'd be like, I like the drama parts, I still do not care about this mystery.
You're terrible. I love the mystery.
Yes, and I like when your first episode's really sad.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Gut-wrenchingly sad.
No. No.
But, yeah, that's, for television pilots, I guess.
Yeah.
Or first episodes of TV shows.
Yeah. I like how both of yours were animated, and both of mine were dramas.
Well, I was gonna go for a live action, but I was like, no, I gotta get Scooby-Doo in there, and I gotta get an anime in there.
Well, I was like, I gotta get I was either picking out of the OC or Gossip Girl for that one.
Well, I mean, but we all knew.
You knew.
the two shows you always talk about.
Yes. Yeah, they just live in my head, so.
And I'm always bringing up anime on this show.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Yeah, love that. Fun times. What was your favorite out of all of these?
Frieren, probably.
Okay, that was not my favorite. I gotta go with the OC.
Yeah, of course.
No surprise.
No, Frieren isn't even my favorite anime. I really like this first episode. I really like the premise. It gets bogged down in typical anime stuff in a way that I think really weakens it as it goes on.
Sad. Just add to the sadness of the show.
But, yeah, it's, television, you know?
That's showbiz, baby. Anyway, I like this. It was fun.
Yeah. Lots of characters to keep track of.
Yeah, and it was nice. Like, I've been in a binge watching mood lately. Like, I get in like phases where like at night I'm just sitting there watching shows. And so this like really fit into my phase right now.
Yeah, and that's why the next episode of this podcast is going to be watching a bunch of Scooby-Doo.
No. I love it.
I feel like those sorts of shows can be hard to binge watch just because it is like meant to be seen in syndication.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, that's television.
Yeah. Okay, well, that has been our 4 episodes. This has been Beach View. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.